Hello there, it's Christian Younggren with Kaizen Automotive Consulting, bringing you more best automotive practices. In this week's edition, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use the maintenance and the gas mileage savings clause to overcome payment objections that you get from your customers during negotiations. Now, if this is your first time to our channel and you want to improve your automotive selling skills, learn how to use psychology to close more car deals, and receive unbiased reviews on dealership product and service companies, go ahead and make sure you subscribe and then turn on the bell so you never miss out on learning anything new. Okay, let's go to work. When they hit you with, hey, the payment's too high, it's, hey, look, it sounds here like me and it sounds like you're on a budget. Or if you've already asked that, it said, I asked you earlier that you were on a budget and you agreed. So let me ask you, if we're able to find another $20, $25 in your budget, do you see any reason why you wouldn't take this now? No, I'd take it now if you can find another 25 months. And earlier you shared with me that you in the last 12 to 24 months had spent $600 in repairs on that vehicle. Let's just forget about the 12 and we'll divide it by 24 months. That comes up to about $25 a month. So really, while I know you don't think you've had a payment on this 10-year-old vehicle, you really have. I mean, you've been paying really $25 a month in maintenance the last 12 to 24 months. And let me ask you, as time goes on, are the expense or the repairs are not going to go up or down? So they're going to go up. They're going to agree with you, and you find they have $25. Now, the gas mileage clause. Okay, the gas mileage clause. There's two ways to do the gas mileage clause. So same scenario. We're $25 off on payments. We say to the guest, again, we have to go ahead and, I kept the other van up there, I erased everything else, but we have to make sure that we isolate and we know that if we can get to what they want, that we can go ahead and deliver the car. So we just say, hey, look, I know we're $25, it sounds like we're $25 off on payments. Let's just take another look at the figures and look at your budget, because no matter what you do when you leave here today, you're going to be leaving here in a car and you're going to be leaving here with a payment. Now you're going to be leaving here in a car you don't really like that much anymore and a payment you do, or you're going to be leaving here in a car you really like and a payment you're not so excited about. But let's just look how it affects your budget. Let's just look at the whole overall budget and see what the total cost of ownership, because the $350 payment that you're making right now, or the what we're at, $350. The $350 payment, really, when it's all said and done, we might be able to find another $25 in there. All right, so there's two ways to do this one. Okay, there's a short way and a long way. Are we on the right page? It's on. If you guys want to look, it's on page 146. So here's what you could ask him. I know Ron, he likes to do the short version because he doesn't think the math. He thinks the math's too technical and you're not going to be able to handle the math and you won't be able to do it. I think you can if you just practice and I teach it to you. So I'm going to teach it to you both ways. How's that? Either way. We can do it either way. So the way you'd set this up is you just say, hey, Bill, let me ask you a question. Let's see if we can find another $25 in your budget. Can I ask you a question? How much does it cost you to fill up when you normally fill up a month? Or fill up when you normally fill up your car? $25, he says. Let's make the math easy. And so then can I ask, how many times in a month do you fill up? And they say, about 4 or 5 times. Okay, well, let's just use 4. So it looks like you're already spending $100. It looks like you're spending $100 a month in fuel. So the vehicle that, I remember you telling me when we were appraising your vehicle that your current vehicle gets 20 miles per gallon. And the one you're looking at gets 30 miles per gallon. So if you kind of just, I'm not much of a mathematician, but if you kind of do just a little guerrilla math, it's what? It's about 30% better. Right, it's about 30% better. If you take 10 and divided it into the 30, it's about a 33% better gas mileage, right? So if you're going to save about 33%, doesn't that mean you're going to save about $33? Heck, you wanted to find another $25 in your budget. I found another 8. So now you got some extra money for some Starbucks on your way into work. That's the short way. I think that really what you could end up, and it works. However, what could happen is they get hung up on, and I've used it before, and the reason why I don't like it as much is because they get hung up sometimes on how many times they fill up. I've had that. Well, I'm not sure, 4 or 5, and they start looking at each other and it becomes this debate when you got a couple on how many times they fill up. So I prefer actually just to do the math, because then I'm doing it exactly, and I can do it really quick. And here's the other tip, by the way. If you don't already have it, get a cheap $5, the cheapest calculator you can, not the cheapest. Get the biggest calculator you can get with the least amount of functions on it. Okay, older people need glasses sometimes to read that. Okay, so I on my phone sometimes have a hard time seeing the numbers, but I can see it on the big buttons. Plus, You want to have something called an involvement close. Remember how we get the customer to go pull the insurance card and they're helping us put things together? Well, if you can get them helping you on these closes, say, you know what, can you just do some math for me? I'll go ahead and give you some numbers if you can go ahead and take my calculator and figure stuff out. And that way they're figuring things up while you're writing it on paper. Now make sure you got a customer that is, that if you get the person that's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, maybe don't hand them the calculator, because I've had some people flub it up. But if you give it to them exactly, they can do it. So here's the math. Here's how you all figure this up. So if you want to write this down, you can, so you know how to do the math. So, Mr. Jones, you said you drive about 15,000 miles a year, correct? I mean, or you could just say, based on you said you bought this car new, and based on just a little bit of guerrilla math here, it looks like you're driving about 15,000 miles a year. Am I right? And if they're driving 15.5, you could use that, but if it's 15.2, then just go to 15, get a nice number. So let's just go ahead and figure out how many miles a month you're driving. Okay, so if we take 12 months and divide it by, if we take the 15,000 miles per year divided by the 12 months, so these are the miles, that's the months. Then it comes out to 1250, right? I did the math, so I should be right. So then we just do this. So it's not that hard. It's one calculation to come up with the monthly. And I kind of like to do this in front of them, because then they don't think I'm doing some voodoo. Because when I do this, sometimes they don't pick up with it because I'm just verbalizing it. And again, it works. It does work. So you take the 1250 and you take how many miles per gallon they're driving. Okay. Now, if you don't know how many miles per gallon they're driving, they might not know what their current gas mileage per gallon is. You know where you can find that? Pardon? Google. Yeah, you can find it on, specifically U.S. government, fueleconomy.gov. Yeah. Say that again?
Fueleconomy.gov.
Yeah, fueleconomy.gov. It might be U.S. fuel economy, but look it up. Look it up. Fuel economy, I think you might be right. It's fueleconomy.gov. That rule is pretty slick. That you could not even have to do the math. If you got that sitting at your desk, in fact, maybe we'll pull it up at break. It's side by side. You can sit there and go side by side. You can change you can go average miles, which is kind of nice, because if you got a customer that's driving 14,000 miles and it's figured at 15, you could kind of use that. But the point is it'll do side by side comparisons, and it'll show you what the miles per gallon is, because once in a while you may have a guest that doesn't know how many miles per gallon they get.
And then that site actually uses real world data as well instead of the sticker.
Yeah, because it's using also, and I think it also uses current gas mileage prices or gas prices. So anyway, the point is that you need to know how to do it longhand in case the computer was broke, in case it's not in front of you, in case you're sitting in the middle of the showroom on a circular table doing this and you don't have a computer available. But you just take take the 1250 divided by miles per gallon, and that gives you how many gallons a month they drive. Or, excuse me, it gives you how many gallons per month they're using. They're using 62 gallons a month. You take it times $2.50, it equals $156. You take the vehicle that they're looking at buying, divide it out. Now you don't have to write all these calculations out. You're just writing down the final figures out. Take that divided by 30 miles per gallon. It comes up to 42 gallons a month now that they're using. So we take that by 250. They're spending 105. Mr. Jones, it looks like we're only trying to find another $25. Looks to me like we found closer to about $50, $51. So, you can make a joke out of it. You know what? You can come by once a month if you want and take me out to lunch, and then if it makes you feel better. But if not, you can just pocket the money and you'll save the other $25. Let's go ahead and get this thing wrapped up. Do you guys want a coffee, water, or something cold to drink while we go ahead and finish this thing up? So that's the math on that. You can use them together. A lot of times when I actually do this for people, I use them together. And I'll set it up by going, you know what? I understand that the payment's a little bit, I'll do that little spiel that I did with the payments, and then I will say, you know what? And I kind of call it the total cost of ownership. I said, you're looking at the monthly payment, but really there's a total cost of ownership of owning the vehicle. And some of the things that make up that total cost of ownership are, one, repairs. And so I'll usually start with the maintenance close and then do the repairs, and I'll figure out, and I got a $25 savings. And then I go, now the other part is gas. And then I figure this up, and then I take the total amount, and now I got $75 in savings for the customer. I've found over the years, it's not so much what companies say about themselves, it's really more about what people say about the company after they've worked with them. So I wanted you to hear some of the testimonials and things that people say about working with Christian Younggren at Cardone Automotive Consulting.
But having somebody that actually was able to animate it
Sure.
like a salesman and tell me how it should work, that's what is my takeaway.
A mentor, someone to talk to, let them know what my issues are and help me work through it.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I think a lot of the stuff that you said, I can use all the time. I wish there was more of it.
Doing these one-on-ones has actually given me more confidence in talking to the customer instead of, oh, there goes one, let's just see what they do.
I think you're going to have a really high success rate with your trainees when they're done.